Hi guys, we're getting pretty close to Easter, and rabbits are always associated with Easter. And I hope you guys have a Easter egg hunt over there or something like that. I think you do. Anyway, I got something else to show you too. Nana made this little frog for her class. That's really kind of cool, huh? I hope I don't drop it. Yeah, a water frog. See that frog? That's a cool little frog that she made, huh? Frog on a rock. Anyway, I got a book about rabbits. That was a side trip, huh? It's called, it's not necessarily an Easter book, but rabbits have to do with Easter anyway. It's called The Whispering Rabbit and Other Stories. So let's see what it says. The Whispering Rabbit. Once there was a sleepy little rabbit who began to yawn, and he yawned, and he yawned, and he yawned, and he yawned. He opened his little rabbit mouth when he yawned till you could see his white front teeth and his little round pink mouth, and he yawned until suddenly a bee flew into his mouth and he swallowed the bee. Ooh, ooh, said a fat old owl. Always keep your paw in front of your mouth when you yawn, hooted the owl. Rabbits never do that, said the sleepy little rabbit. Silly rabbits, said the owl, and he flew away. The little rabbit was just calling after him, but when the little rabbit opened his mouth to speak, the bumblebee had curled up to sleep in his throat, and all he could do was whisper. What shall I do? He whispered to a squirrel who wasn't sleeping. Wake him up, said the squirrel. Wake up the bumblebee. How? Whispered the rabbit. All I can do is whisper, and I'm sleepy and I want to go to sleep, and who can sleep with a bumblebee? Suddenly a wise old groundhog popped up out of the ground. All I can do is whisper, said the little rabbit. All the better, said the groundhog. Come here, little rabbit, he said, and I'll whisper to you how to wake up a bumblebee. You have to make the littlest noise that you can possibly make, because a bumblebee doesn't bother about big noises. He's a very little bee, and he is only interested in little noises. Like a loud whisper? Asked the rabbit. Too loud, said the groundhog, and popped back into his hole. A little noise, whispered the rabbit, and he started making little rabbit noises. He made a noise as quiet as the sound of a bird's wing cutting the air, but the bee didn't wake up. So the little rabbit made the sound of snow falling, but the bee didn't wake up. So the little rabbit made the sound of a bug breathing and a fly sneezing and grass rustling and a fireman thinking. Still, the bee didn't wake up. So the rabbit sat and thought of all the little sounds he could think of. What could they be? A sound quiet as snow melting, quiet as a flower growing, quiet as an egg, quiet as... And suddenly he knew the little noise that he would make, and he made it. It was like a little click made hundreds of miles away by a bumblebee in an apple tree in full bloom on a mountaintop. It was the very small click of a bee swallowing some honey from an apple blossom. And that woke the bee up. He thought he was missing something, and away he flew. And then what did the little rabbit do? That sleepy little rabbit. Come on, page. Come on. There we go. He closed his mouth. He closed his eyes. He closed his ears. And he tucked in his paws and twitched his nose, and he went sound asleep. Interesting little story. And then I am Scuppers the sailor dog. I'm Scuppers the sailor dog. I can sail in a gale, ride over a whale under full sail in a fog. I'm Scuppers the sailor dog. I'm Scuppers the sailor's dog. With a shake and a snort, I can sail into port under full sail in a fog. An interesting little thing. This is called The Friendly Book. Another story. I like cars. Red cars, green cars, sport limousine cars. Stanley, you should be able to read some of this along with me, huh? Red cars, green cars. Okay, let's see what it says here. I like cars. A car in a garage, a car with a load, a car with a flat tire, a car on the road. I like cars. See all those? Yeah. Oh, here's another one. I like trains. Express trains, toy trains, steamline trains, freight trains, old trains, milk trains. I think he likes trains. Any kind of train. A train in the station, trains crossing the plains, trains in a snowstorm, trains in the rain. I like trains. Trains are fun to ride, aren't they, Stanley? We'll read one more like one here. I like stars. Yellow stars, green stars, red stars, blue stars. I like stars. Far stars, quiet stars, bright stars, light stars. I like stars. A star that is shooting across the dark sky. A star that is shining right straight in your eye. I like stars. Yes, indeed. One more. And you don't have this. It's cold stuff. I like snow. Cold snow. Slow snow. White snow. Icy snow. I like snow. Snow falling softly with everything still. White in the blue light, white on the hill. White on the sill, pardon me. White on the trees on the far distant hill. With everything still. I like snow. Grandpa's not so happy about snow, though. It's pretty cold. And I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to ask you a question. Did you guys hear about or even see something called the pink moon last night? Full moon time, and they call it a pink moon in April. So maybe even tonight, it still will be going on. You never know. But when you look at the moon, just think, is that really a pink moon, or do they just call it that? Anyway, look at the pink moon, and as always, be good to each other, mind your mom, mind your dad, and we'll be seeing you sometime soon, I hope. Bye-bye.